Hi everyone. Probably never thought we would be learning in horticulture this way, or any subject for that matter, but here we are. And if you can tell, I'm not in a classroom or my home or anything like that, but of course, where am I? I'm in the greenhouse, because no matter what, these plants keep growing and keep needing some maintenance and water and transplanting, whether there's a pandemic or not. So other than my home, I come here just about once a day, every now and then, every other day. So I'm still coming here so that by the time you guys come back, it'll be all ready to go. So this week, what we're going to focus on is actually the importance of tagging plants and how to discern and read the information on tags. It's actually really simple, and you guys won't be surprised by anything. And so I'm going to show you a couple of them, and then you guys are going to work through just a few pictures and identifying certain information. And there's really important information on these tags. So the first thing I'm going to show you is actually just how the greenhouse is doing. And then from there, we're going to look at a couple tags together just so you know what I mean by that. All right, so here we go. So here we are right in the center benches. You guys can see just how many trays of plants we got. So of course, right before we shut down, we got a pretty big shipment of plants. You guys probably remember, because I was telling you guys all about it and was really excited because we were supposed to be working with all of these plants, transplanting them and putting them together in pots, and then of course, where are we going to sell them? At Breezeway Market, right? So I'm going to be doing that behind the scenes, but I'm going to keep you guys updated. So far, all of these guys on our center benches have been transplanted at least once. So all that means is right now they're in these pretty small pots, not too big, not too tiny. Some are in a little smaller of pots, but they came in teeny tiny plugs, and I wish I could show you how small the plugs were, but that's when they're in their seedling stage, right? When they've just sprouted and are trying to become into mature plants. So they've been transplanted once, but you can tell these guys are going to start outgrowing their pots pretty soon. So if we look at these, look down in there and you can see, wow, for this size of plant, it's going to need a new pot pretty soon. All of these are almost ready to be transplanted, so I'm going to be doing that for us while you guys are working on some activities. So this is that center aisle right here, and then of course we have all the other benches back here, which have our standard plants, our spider plants, our wandering trees, our rubber tree, and we have a couple more of our trays back here. These are flowers, and I'll show you an example of a tag right now, okay? So I'm going to ask you a question as I show you this, all right? So that's going to be the next part. So here is our first example of a plant tag, and this is still known as a basic plant tag. And later in the week, we're going to talk more about detailed plant tags. But as far as the basic plant tag goes, this is an excellent source of information. On the front, on the back, it gives you everything you need to know to at least start taking care of this plant. And the first thing, of course, we notice is the picture. And so the picture is so helpful because whether you're at a nursery or even places like Home Depot or Lowe's, anywhere that will sell flowers, this is so helpful to the buyer because it gives them an idea of what the plant looks like full grown. A lot of the times in greenhouses and nurseries and stores, the plant can be sold still in its younger or earlier stages. So this gives the buyer an idea of what the plant looks like full grown. So they can see the color, they can see the size, even the shape of it. So a picture is always an added plus, and you're way more likely to sell a plant if there is a picture on the plant tag included. Up here, we're going to see a couple of things. The first thing is petunia, and then you see this in quotes Ray Sunflower. Petunia is the series name, and then Ray Sunflower is the variety name. So you can kind of think of this as a first and last name. The variety name is like the first name, Petunia is the last name. So when you think of someone, maybe their name is John Smith, John would be here and Smith would be up here. It's like, you know that Ray Sunflower is part of the Petunia family. So that's often how I think about it. And then a lot of times down here, you will see the botany name or the classification. And one thing I do really want to note is that as far as the series name, the variety name, and the botany name, every tag is pretty different in that. I like to say no tag is created equal unless it's from the same company. Like this is by Dutch Country Classics, so their tags are all going to look the same. But if you go to another nursery or greenhouse, their tag is probably going to look pretty different, and especially in the name area. So the main thing we want to focus on is actually the series name, and the variety name is important as well. But when we get into the classification or the botany name, we often don't go by those names because they're hard to pronounce, and as long as you know that series name, that's what is important for a buyer or for even us as carers, because as long as we have that series name, we can take care of the plant. Here we are on the back, and this is a beautifully made tag because it is just listing very simply information that is helpful to us. It's helpful to a buyer just to see what does this plant need. So the first thing it's telling us, which is actually included on the front too, which was very nice, is the sun information, the light information. What kind of sun and light does this plant need? And it tells us plant in sun or partial sun. The second one, it says blooms early summer to fall. Third, grows 12 to 15 inches tall. Spaced 12 to 15 inches apart. Water 2 to 3 times per week until established, and fertilize every 3 weeks with a mild solution. And then down here we have a little description that will also include some little details. So right here we know there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps. That is pretty good for a basic tag. And it's nice too just because it's in list format. So it's not hard to read, it's not a bunch of little words on a small space. So this is a very nice plant tag. So I'm going to show you another plant tag, and I'm going to ask you some questions and see if you can follow along. Here is our next one, and it's again by Dutch Country Classics. So it's going to look pretty similar, except for, of course, the details in the picture of the plant, because now we're learning about different plants. So for this one, we see where is the series name or the last name of the plant. If you're thinking Coleus, you are right. What about the variety name? If you're thinking fishnet stockings, you got it. That's a funny name, isn't it? And then what about the scientific name? Right down here, the classification, the botany name, and this is a great example of why we typically don't go by these, because look at how difficult that is to pronounce. That's just a tongue twister. And then what else do we see on here? Right towards the bottom, we see a little picture of a sun with a cloud, so we could probably assume from that this plant wants partial sun. Here we are on the back, and then we're right, it says plant in partial sun or shade. What about what kind of plant does it tell us that it is? A foliage plant. What about its growth? 24 to 36 inches tall. What about space? 12 to 16 inches apart. We see the watering details. This one's telling us 2 to 3 times per week until established, very similar to our last one. And then fertilize every 3 weeks with a mild solution. So when we look at these next to each other, they look and follow the same pattern. They give us the same details, which is so helpful. And then on the front, they follow the same format as well. So we're gonna take a look at another tag right now that's just a little bit different. All right, here is our next one. And actually at the top, we have the variety name, On Top Pink Halo. And then down here with begonia, we're gonna see tuberous begonia, that's our series name, and then the botany or classification down here. Of course, we notice our picture, and then we see two little suns. One is half yellow, the other one is completely shaded in. So from there, we're gonna know that this sun, this plant likes shade or partial sun. So from the front, like the other one, we're getting some information as far as the name of the plant, the picture, and then if it likes sun or what kind of sun it likes. When we flip it to the back, we can tell it looks pretty different. Even on the front, it looks pretty different, but the back definitely looks pretty different from the other plant tags that we looked at. So this one's gonna tell us the height of the plant, 10 to 12 inches. The spacing is also 10 to 12 inches. And then it gives us a little bit of detail, but more like a paragraph format. It says, enjoys lots of flowers over a long period on these easy to grow, compact, and very durable begonias. Uses: the shady north and east sides of the building, under shade trees, or in pots under a porch roof are perfect places for planting. Care, so this is very important. Water regularly and fertilize monthly. So when we look at our other tag compared to this one, which one do you think is a little easier to read? If you're thinking this one, I agree with you that this format is very helpful. This one still has a good bit of information, but this one's a little easier on the eyes. So when we think about tags and how, again, they're not all created equal, this is a perfect example, but both have a ton of information on them and enough for someone to be able to take care of the plant properly. All right, everyone, that is it for today. So I hope this was at least a little bit fun for you guys. And I just wanted to make sure that I tell you all that I miss you guys. I'm proud of you. Please stay safe in all of this, and I just can't wait to come back and be in the greenhouse in the garden with you guys. It's lonely in here without you all, so I'm really looking forward to that. And so I'm going to do everything that I can on my part to keep the greenhouse going and hopefully the garden started, so that by the time we all get to come back together again, we'll just jump right back into the swing of things, and we can look forward to picking produce and making things in culinary and continuing to grow and sell flowers and just everything fun that we get to do in here in these fun seasons. So I miss you guys, and just hang in there and get some work done.